Good morning and welcome to the first discussion segment of this morning on ITV. It's all about compensation of herders, farmers, clash victims. Yeah, that's what we'll take a look at this morning. Will the compensation bring about lasting peace? Is it going to provide solution, agitation for, the want of something good when you talk about this incident fight between farmers and of course headers? Is it going to go anywhere to make them forget about the past? How would they be compensated? What would they be given to really make sure that somewhere along the line the destruction of our property occasioned by the clash, even lives also occasioned by the clash of farmers headers, is being adequately taken care of? And how much do you think this amount should be? Is it going to be material cash? Lots and lots of questions emanating from that round. But on Friday, at the NEC meeting, Vice President Yemi Shibajo was to head, or is heading the committee on that. The big question now is, how would they go about this? With me here in the studio is a political analyst, human rights activist, and of course a member of New Nigeria Initiative. Join me to welcome Odigie Owadai. Welcome to TMI Sunday's edition.
Thank you very much. Good morning, viewers.
It's no longer news about farmers headers colliding. No longer news about the wanton destruction of lives and property occasioned by the clash between headers and of course farmers. Nigerians, north, south, east, west, even the middle belt, they've been crying over this, and here we are. Last week a committee was set up to compensate the victims of this farmers headers clash. Let's take a look at the constitution of the committee. What do you feel about this?
Well, first and foremost, it is ridiculous to me for the federal government to embark on such a project. Ab initio, they have lied to us that the government will not negotiate or compensate the headaches. And 3 days ago, Lai Mohammed or Liar Mohammed.
Lai Mohammed, please, not Liar, please.
Mohammed,
yes.
The Minister of Information, told us categorically that the federal government will not negotiate with those headaches. Surprisingly, less than 24 hours, they now constitute a committee to compensate the criminals. By doing so, the federal government is legitimizing criminal activities.
Well, no, they didn't say they're going to compensate the criminals. They say they're going to compensate victims of the clash. It could be the headers or the farmers. Okay. So it's not good for us to narrow it to one side.
Let us fix the reality. We know where they are going. They want to compensate the victims. For how long have they compensated those in Olu or the eastern part of Nigeria? They've been silent on it. When a situation like this happens in the east, before you could say Jack, the military, they are there with full force, military might to suppress their eunuchs. But when it comes to the northeast or to the north, it becomes a different approach. You want to negotiate with them. Prior to this, they negotiated the 400 students. Some said 400, some said 300, some said 336. The actual number we don't know. But at the end of the day, we were told by one of those hoodlums that the federal government compensated them. And they used Meati Allah as middlemen to for the negotiation. What is going on in this country? It is we that is always saying, oh, let us do this. Why are they using money from the south to compensate those in the north? Why can't they use the Zamfara gold money to compensate their people? Let me tell you exactly what is going on.
How do you know the source of the money?
Good.
Since you don't have evidence,
I have evidence. Do they contribute? Do they contribute anything to our economy?
Mohammed said that no money was given.
The man has been a pathological liar.
Oh, hold on now. You just can't say he's a liar.
The man has been a pathological. He has
information that you are not privy to. So let's leave it at that.
The man has always been very diplomatic. Let me use that word. To paint black white. Now, this is what is going on. When the federal government arrests the headaches or the Boko Haram, they rehabilitate them because they are the ones that brought them since 2014. They are the ones that opened the border, the porous border in the north, for them to bring in their fellow kingsmen from Niger, from other West African countries.
Can you prove what you are saying?
Who were driven out of DRC after the Civil War. They came here, found haven. So in order for them to protect, this is basically, there's what they call money laundering.
Anyway, it is not the federal government that
brought it into the country. So please be guarded. Please let me do my analysis.
All right.
When they bring them into the country, the federal government will negotiate with them and give them billions of naira. They launder that money to Boko Haram, who will use that same money to buy AK-47, bring them back into the country to arm the cattle herdsmen by buying AK-47 for them. So the encouragement is, this is why the federal government has been handling their case with case gloves.
These are spurious allegations.
Brother,
and you cannot prove it.
You might call
and you're going about conspiracy theory, which is, how would I put it now? It doesn't have a base.
You might call it conspiracy theory. The manner at which the president of our country, Buhari, is handling the issue of the herdsmen, it gives us room to question.
All right, now you just hold on now. You just hold on, because right now you don't have adequate proof to really give back into your conspiracy theory. And we don't work by conspiracy. You are giving accusations, allegations that you cannot prove. So now, let's jettison it. Let's go back again to compensation.
Has any of them been arrested?
Hold on now. Let's go back to
Has any of them been arrested? Absolutely not. But it's easier to go to the east and arrest. It's easier to go to the south and arrest.
Comrade, hold on.
It's easier to go to southwest and arrest.
Comrade, hold on. Comrade, hold on now. Is it wrong for the farmers or herders victims to be compensated? Because you are drawing a particular line. They're talking about the victims. It could be the farmers or the herders, at least to create or give succor to those persons that have lost in this clash. So what is wrong in that?
Let me talk about Edo State, for example.
Yes.
There's no herders farmers clash. That word clash it was coined by the federal government. Do we have issue, a contentious issue in Edo State with the herders? No. They come, they rape us, they destroy our properties, they destroy our farmlands, they kill our women, they rape our women. Do we have clash with the herders in Edo State? No. The war was coined by the federal government.
So what do we have now? Because right
we
now
have criminal elements. We have criminal elements from the north who are cattle rearers coming to Edo State to destroy our properties. And then you are now telling me that the federal government should compensate them. Why would they compensate them? Why will I invest my money, take loan from the bank to, to cultivate my land with the hope that after harvesting, I will add value by processing my, produce. Then somebody from nowhere, because he feels that he's more superior to me because of his ethnic nationality, he can come to my land and destroy my land, destroy my property. Then you are saying, okay, come and compensate. They will say, oh, you have corn. Corn is 50 naira. How many hectares of corn do you have? Okay, we will give you 1,000. And they said, per every cow is 100,000. But for my corn, is 50 naira.
So you
so
say that
why the headers is getting the full value of his cow, I'm getting 50 naira for my corn. Did I tell you that I wanted to sell the corn? I wanted to process the corn. So do they take that into consideration in the first place? Instead of talking of the compensation, we have the wherewithal. Why don't we go and approach and solve the root cause of that problem? Now, in order to solve it,
before we go into solving the root cause of the problem, we will not through with what is on the ground right now. Compensation. You are talking about value for the crops destroyed, and of course value also for the cattle killed. You are saying that it isn't balanced, but you're not in the committee to know how they're going to do it. So
compensation is a wrong approach.
Compensation
is a wrong approach. If you start compensating me, you are now telling me as a businessman, say, well, since crime has become a legitimate business in Nigeria, so instead of me to go and invest my money, I might as well just
crime is legitimate in Nigeria.
That's the implication. What that pertains. What they are telling me is that, look, I can go and kidnap, I can go and destroy my neighbor's property. Then the government will come and compensate me. And that is what they have been doing in the north. They have been compensating them. It is only in the south that they don't, that they don't compensate. Are you not going to say the CDAs? Hold on. Are you not going to say the CDAs in Nigeria? Are you not going to say the CDAs?
Hold on. Before you talk about the CDAs,
yeah.
Now, with the inauguration of this committee, you get to see the vice president. Don't think that
the man is a cockroach.
Hold on, just please withdraw that.
I just said mine.
No,
it's my opinion.
Even if it's
his my opinion, my personal opinion.
Before we
the vice president, hold
on. Before we continue with this discussion, withdraw that statement before we start off.
Why?
You have to do that.
It's my personal opinion.
Because you don't have any right to insult a personality.
Why?
For you to withdraw your statement, please.
It's an adjective that I used to qualify him.
Even at that, please withdraw.
What is wrong with the adjective?
Please withdraw.
Yeah. Okay, if I say the man is a honest man, then you will accept it.
Comrade.
No, if I say the man is a honest man, it's okay.
Comrade.
This is our mentality.
Comrade.
So if I go and praise him, then it's okay.
Decorum. You are on air.
Yeah.
He is the vice president, and you don't have a right to call him that. I'm waiting for you now to please withdraw.
Okay.
Before we continue.
He's not a cockroach.
Thank you. Please be guided with your comments and please watch your emotions.
Right.
Now, with all this on the ground right now, talking about compensation, I don't think it's going to trickle down to the farmers affected by the clash in this region, South-South region, Southeast region, because you talked about them focusing more on the north. With this committee now set to really take care of all this, I don't think it's going to come down to other parts of the country.
Well, sometimes I keep wondering the way the black man thinks. You have a problem, instead of addressing the problem, you are thinking of a cosmetic solution, giving them money. And if you give Mr. A 1 million today, probably in his lifetime, he might not make that 1 million. tomorrow, what they call the copycat, Mr. B is going to say, well, if that be the case, why can't I also indulge in such a nefarious activity? They will continue doing the same thing over and over with no ending, and there will not be any solution. I am totally against the compensation. I am totally against the idea of constituting a committee. We have a problem, be that as it may, like I wanted to say, other criminal elements in other areas, for example, CDA, the area, what do you call it? All these, narcotics. They can say, well, if that is the case, let me also start. Go to the upper. They will keep on killing people. Then the federal government will now call them, okay, instead of turning Upper into a hotspot zone, we want to compensate you people. But there's no difference between what the herdsmen are doing and from what they are doing in Upper Sakmamba.
Okay, you're talking about the courtists class
yes.
right now.
So they are all criminal elements. So at the end of the day, the federal government will now start paying.
So now you are not saying that compensation is a bad idea.
It is a bad idea ab initio.
But is it a crime for the farmers to be compensated for the crops destroyed, for the life lost?
Why don't they approach? We first of all approach the cause of that problem. Federal government is not facing the cause of that problem. You are thinking of compensating them. So there is a hidden agenda for this idea of compensation. Because while between 2014 till date, they have not arrested one herder. They have not arrested one Boko Haram. Yeah, they arrest some Boko Haram, but what do? They rehabilitate them and deploy them to the Nigerian army. A Boko Haram, you rehabilitate him. How? Then you are now saying you are now, a military officer. You are now giving that same person gun to fight the fellow, Boko Haram. Let us be realistic. We are doing nothing.
All right, now, if you take a look at compensation, don't forget in Lagos, the hashtag #EndSARS protesters, the panel, to be able to compensate at least 2 families.
Please
with
do not compare the hashtag. Please.
Hold on.
Please.
We are taking a look at compensation right now.
You will get me
10
annoyed.
million naira each. I mean, that is going to go a long way.
Do not.
So you mean that's only different?
Do not compare Boko Haram, the headaches, with the hashtag. Kudos to the hashtag, urban protesters. They fought for us. They have our interest. If I was a member of that, I could have marked 100 million for each one of them.
As compensation?
As compensation. They deserved it. What we could not do, they did it.
All right. You talking about...
Please, don't, that's Apple. It's like comparing the header to the Niger Delta. Do not do that, please.
Okay. Now, talking about solution, El-Rufai talked about a state policing, local government policing. Everyone should protect their own territory.
Yeah.
What do you feel about that? Is that one of the methods for really finding a solution, taking it up from the root?
Yeah. That's what I call the long-awaited rain. We have been agitating for state and local government police. And it has started systematically through this Amoteco Southeast security network, Edo Vigilante, and others, the Hisbah in the north. So eventually it will metamorphose into the state policing. So it is a gradual process. Yes, the federal government for now, they are comfortable with the status quo. And do we really need the federal government? You see, we do not understand what democracy is all about. But the North, they understand what democracy is all about. When the Zamfara governor, Sani Ahmed, created or established Hizbah and declared a Sharia state, he did not wait for the federal government. I remember vividly, Obasanjo was the then head of president. He said, let us leave them time. They will phase out. With time, they will phase out. That's exactly what he said. Because he could not do anything. Since Zamfara is a federative state in Nigeria, they have every right to domesticate their own laws. But the southern states, the governors are looking up to the president. For example, they are all talking about banning of open grazing. Oh, we are waiting for the government, for the president to make a statement. Why will you wait for the president to make a statement? You are the head of your government, your state, just like the president is the head of his government, the federal government. You don't need to wait for the federal government. You have a House of Assembly. You can introduce a bill, just like we have introduced a bill in the Just House of Assembly, New Nigeria Initiative, total banning of open cattle grazing because we want to give it a legal teeth.
Now, do you think that that will really dampen the impact of this farmers' health?
Oh, definitely, definitely. When there is a law, and if they are apprehended, they will face the consequence. They'll be sanctioned. It's like if you park illegally and X-Man, is it X-Man they call them? They tow your vehicle. You go to their office, you pay 10,000 naira. The next day, my brother, you will not like to park there. Because that 10,000 you paid will have effect on your pox. So now, when there is a law, we are recommending 150,000 per cow. If they are apprehended, assuming you see a cattle immigration coming and you apprehend that person, they will seize all the cows. They will pay 150,000 per cow. And whoever the grazer will go to jail. 5 years, minimum. So it will put them on there. So that is why we need to address. That's the first thing, by giving it a legal teeth, other than the statement that the governors are all making. Oh, I'm using my executive fiat, signing the order, no more. You don't, there's no legal teeth.
So you're saying that right now, from what the governors are doing, doesn't have a legal backing.
It doesn't have a legal backing.
And without that,
it's not binding. It's not binding. What if the governor leaves tomorrow? What if the governor leaves tomorrow? Another governor will come in and say, well, that's him. I'm not interested. Issue another, executive order. So this is why we need to go back, encourage the House of Assembly to expeditiously deliberate on that bill and give it to the governor for assent. Let them call, for public, debate. So within the shortest possible time, we'll pass the bill. The bill will become a law. And every citizen in Edo State can do citizens arrest.
Citizens arrest how?
It is part, just like you have the police, you have the vigilante, you have Ministry of, the forestry, personnel. Yeah, so you also have, I can arrest you. If I see you, committing a crime, I can arrest you, then I will call police. That's what they call citizen arrest. If the police is not there, I will take you to the police station.
Now what if I refuse? What then happens?
We'll bundle you. We'll bundle you.
No, you said you. What if I refuse? What
if I see you violating,
you're talking about citizens arrest, other form of protecting lives and property.
Oh, definitely.
What if you cannot, in terms of strength, overpower?
Why can't I overpower? There are people there. You see, when somebody is committing a crime, you see hundreds of people. You can call them. They join you. You overpower the person, put the person inside your vehicle, and take the person to the police station. That's citizen's arrest. You hand over the person to the police. I'm not saying try the person. Hand the person over to the police.
But right now, since there are no laws backing it, what should be done?
That is why the introduction of the prohibition of open cattle grazing in Edo State.
Are you saying that right now?
So we are one step ahead of other states. So we are calling on the Edo likes, home and abroad, to support this bill.
All right.
So that they can...
all right. Now, there's still this suggestion also by, a governor and, of course, an individual in Nigeria saying that since these things are going this way, citizens should be encouraged to bear arms. What do you feel about that suggestion? Having in mind what happened, what is going on in the U.S., incessant shooting, and they are saying no to that particular law in America.
There's nothing wrong in the U.S. I was there for more than 30 years. So you can't tell me we have the wrong notion of the goings on over there. The good part of it is that you can break into my house because you don't know what I have. Unlike here, the Bauchi governor said any cattle herder has a constitutional right to bear AK-47. What that portends is that they have right to carry arms. If they do, we also have right to carry arms. I'm telling you now, what is arm? If you have a stick, if you have a knife, cutlass, bow and arrow, catapult, they are all arms. And knowing fully well the antecedent of these cattle headaches, as a Nigerian or as an Edo man or Edo person, if you see them coming to you, you have every right to protect yourself by any means necessary.
But don't forget that some of these cattle also are owned by some citizens in Edo State.
That's not the issue. Is it those
but it's
people,
an issue.
Is it those people that comes to kill? No, I'm asking, is it those people that comes to kill?
You see, if you see any.
If you see them armed, that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying coming with, if you see them armed, if they have what you call it, a stick, if you see their knife, if you see their cutlass, if you see their AK-47, if you see a catapult with them, you have every right to protect yourself. Because no man has right, constitutional right, to possess any of those things. So if I'm coming, if I'm going to my farm, and I see a header coming with any of those things, I will shoot.
Okay, all right.
I will protect myself.
All right, okay, now hold on. Now we are not here to forget the message of shooting on sight when you see a header coming with one of those things you just mentioned. Because right now the law.
Go and look at the definition of armed.
The law has not been passed yet, so we're waiting for them to.
No, the law is no. We already have the law.
No.
We have the law.
The law has not been passed yet.
We have the law.
The law hasn't been passed yet, from our own information.
That is why when an armed robber breaks into your house,
in
a burglar breaks into your house, and you see the person holding a rod, that's armed.
Okay, now
will you not have the right, to protect yourself?
back to the compensation
hold on.
Back to the compensation right
The
now.
anchorman, will you not have right to protect yourself?
Okay, now let's take
So the same
a
thing
look.
goes with them.
Okay, fine. Let's
So
take
please,
a
Edo
look
people,
at this
beware.
scenario. Let's take a look at this scenario. Okay, back to the compensation.
Yeah.
You've lost almost everything. Someone says, look,
Yeah.
I'm going to give you this amount, even if it's not commensurate to what you've lost.
Yeah.
At least just for start off.
Yes.
Is there anything wrong in it?
Yes, there's something wrong. You are missing the point. They are not compensating you because they love you. They are compensating you because they want to give money to the Northerners.
But you're not sure of that. I keep saying,
Why have they not
you
been
don't
compensating
approve.
those from the southeast? Go to Olu right now in Imo State. What is happening? They prescribe IPOP. What has IPOP done? Is IPOP a violent group? No. Is IPOP, a terrorist organization? No. Have they threatened anybody in Nigeria? No. They've not prescribed Boko Haram, Miyati Allah. But it was easier for them to quickly prescribe IPOP.
Anyway, Miyati
Because
Allah,
the same people, hold on my brother, because the same people that are prescribing the civil socio-cultural organization from Southeast are also members of the Headers Association.
All right, thank you so much for your opinion. Miyati Allah, they are doing their cattle business. They're not known as terrorist group in Nigeria. Let's just leave it at that. All right, you say that compensation is not the way forward. We should look or find a lasting solution to this problem. Thank you so much for your analysis and of course your wonderful opinions. Well, that's it on this segment right now. Whatever you hear him say, his own opinion, it has nothing to do with ITV. Always make sure that the rules and regulations governing the airwaves. We'll be right back after this break. Don't go anywhere.